Hey guys, welcome to another audio commentary done by Diggity. This is the second match in the tiebreaker between Flash and Frozean. The three in this save your Flash and Frozean. Let's get the positions real fast. Looks like Flash is starting at the 9 o'clock position and Frozean is starting at the 12 o'clock position in white. So keep that in mind because, Terran versus Terran sometimes can get a little dicey. And this is on Katrina, and interestingly enough, I haven't seen Terran versus Terran on Katrina yet, so I'm going to be interested to see how this plays out. Really quick, before I get distracted, check out sc2legends.com. There's going to be a really cool tournament going on around, I think, January 8th. Going to be a lot of tournaments going on there, and basically Moletrap and I, and maybe Clazzard, if he finishes with his novel, will be doing some commentaries with that grouping. It's going to be an absolute blast. Sometime in the near future, I'm going to try to do G5 versus In Control, but I keep getting distracted by things, basically real life in the background, and also everybody write this down. Stop what you're doing. You can even pause this vid right after. There's about 380 players sign up currently for a tournament and rising. There's basically slots for 1,032 players. If you go to sc.gosugamers.net/tournaments, it's just this gigantic tournament. It's going to be on December 7th. Go check it out. It's going to be huge, and it could be really awesome. I would like to see as many people participate as possible, and honestly, if the guy who's organizing it doesn't mind, I wouldn't mind doing a commentary on the final, or maybe even the final four. Up to that, if depending actually what's going on around that time, we'll have to see. Anyway, getting back to the match. Yeah, Katrina, in my opinion, it's kind of a Terran-based map, even though Protoss has been winning more overall, but I just kind of blame Terran's passiveness on this. You basically have a protected secondary behind the base here. I would expect both players actually to fast expand, unless Flash is known for being actually pretty creative. I've heard someone on the basically Team Liquid forums call him Cheddar Terran, and I have to some degree agree with that. He is kind of cheesy. And we'll see how it goes. Keep in mind, Frozean's already lost one, so he's kind of in a little bit of a dangerous position. You're allowed to lose as many as you want. You just have to win two. And make sure, basically, whoever wins two after that, or whoever wins the next one after that, is you to advance in this grouping. And OSL can be very confusing, but point being, whoever wins this is going to be whoever is the first place winner of this is going to go on to face Bisu. Whoever is the second place winner is going to go on to face Stork. So actually, not a lot of help there either way, especially for the Terran players. I think Savior, I just would really love to see Savior versus Bisu. I think that's the matchup everybody really, really wants to see. But we'll see how it goes. It looks like they're. I'm not sure if there's an early expand. We see on the mini map there. You can see the SCVs in position. Going. Yeah, it looks like they already got the second expansion going up. It looks like Flash doing the exact same thing. Or I'm sorry, Frozean doing the exact same thing. Excuse me a second. Need to clear my throat a little bit there. Anyway, but yeah, it looks like both players, again, I'm going to be interested to see where this goes. If both players go for kind of a heavy metal sort of play, which is pretty standard Terran on Terran, or if we see any sort of air combat. I mean, we definitely are going to see dropships, which is pretty standard. And interestingly enough, dropships are going to be very important on this because there's a lot of territory to cover with that protected secondary. Basically, you have to defend that inside secondary. It's really hard for ground troops, so dropships going to play a really vital role. As you can see, gas decade there. Wouldn't be surprised if one of these players, after sealing their front door, decided to basically skip building a factory and immediately shift, after building that first factory, instead of going for a second factory, immediately just go to a starport and just start pumping units from there. It looks like both players getting that early marine out. And it looks like a scout manages to slide through for Flash and for Frozean. I can't see in the minimap actually Flash's scout, but it looks like Frozean managed to slip that SCV through. He's checking out the secondary and he's going to wind back up, trying to avoid that marine. And as you can see, that marine Flash's marine trying to hunt that SCV down. Just a tick left in that second gas, so a lot of gas is going to be in play. And what's interesting, again, it's going to be really interesting. The other thing that could be very possible here is after kind of that initial, maybe even a two-factory build. It looks like a two-factory build for Frozean going up. Maybe even expanding someplace else and going for basically another Sealant on another base, and then just kind of going early Goliath. And there's Flash going with that early starport. Looks like he's not even going to bother going dropships. He's going to go Wraiths, which is very clever. Looks like an early armor going down for Frozean, but even with that armory, it's gonna, and he's no, it looks like 2 starports going up for Flash, so he's gonna go heavy air. He might even go all rays dedicated early, and that could be decently effective depending on whether or not Frozean can get that spot in, which I don't think he's going to be able to. First of all, there's that seal on his front door, those Marines denying Flash's scout, but we'll see basically if Frozean has the presence of mind basically to pump a ton of Goliaths. He is getting that armory down, so he's going to have the capacity, but the question is he going to be able to stop the sheer amount of air? Is he going to actually have detectors up in case Flash is deciding to go kind of a dedicated Wraith build? I think he is going to go at least with a Wraith, as you can see being produced there, but it looks like Flash is kind of indicating with that single control tower that he is going to go kind of more of a dedicated Wraith build, which is really that's gonna wreak havoc on Frozean. I think it's really difficult to again, there's a lot of this map to cover. There's a lot of territory that you have to be careful about. In the meantime, Frozean going to bring a tank up, but really he can't defend it. And it looks like Cloak is being researched for those Wraiths. And the question is Frozean going to have any detection in the meantime? But it looks like Frozean does have that dual factory, so what this is going to come down to is how successful will Flash be with his harass on Frozean's base. There are those Goliaths up, but again, Goliaths aren't anything unless you have detection to take those Wraiths down, and there can be a lot of decent harassment. 2 more factories going up, a lot of harassment in the meantime. Looks like Frozean is actually pushing up very early on Flash's base, is going to start harassing his front door. I don't think, looks like Siege Check is going to be up for Frozean just a second here, and now he sees that Wraith with that barracks. So he realizes Wraiths are out. Let's see if he manages to get, he is getting the ComSat station in the meantime, and he does have the Academy down. Of course he does with the ComSat, but what he really needs is turrets, because Flash, decent micromanagement. I wouldn't say the best, but he has very good micromanagement. He can just move those units back and forth, and wow, being a little bit vulnerable, kept his front door open. I'm surprised those tanks aren't sieged yet. Looks like Flash does have siege with his tanks now, so no real advantage for Frozean at this point. I would say Flash is a little bit ahead, definitely technologically, starting to harass that barracks, and that's going to be a little dangerous if he manages to take that barracks down, cloaking, and he's going to just start pushing up now. And attacking that barracks, and that's going to set Frozean back. He can't build additional factories, which is kind of what his build's kind of locked into. Let's see if he pushes a couple factories in the meantime. And it looks like a little bit of a comsat wasted there. I think he comsated behind, and here comes Flash. He's going to go push up with the harass. He doesn't have his engineering bay down yet, and he doesn't have any Goliaths in the background. And wow, brilliantly going to harass that, kill that SAV that was building that barracks, deny any more factories. Going to pull it back. I'm surprised it looks like he's just going to pull them back. He might wait until they're full up on energy and then go back to continue that harassment. I'm surprised he didn't just keep them there and continue with basically picking at everything in the area. There is comsat down there, but maybe he didn't want to lose any position. As you can see, Frozean continuing to push up. Wow, kind of catacoring that ridge, gonna basically hit Flash across where he can. 4 factories up for Frozean, and it looks like 4 factories just now going up for Flash. But Flash, as you can see, has those Wraiths out, and I think that's really the difference here. Frozean doesn't have any sort of air. He doesn't have mobility. Wow, brilliant maneuver there by Flash, drawing those Goliaths in, and now all those units just absolutely, totally vulnerable here. All those Marines down, and now just those tanks just sitting there getting pelleted by those Wraiths. As you can see, the frustration on Frozean's face. Really, it's going to be difficult for him, kind of in this position. Wow, I love this build by Flash. He's just going to go Wraith tank, and he's just starting to push up on Frozean. Frozean just bleeding tanks right now, left and right. I'm not sure what that SCV is doing there. Maybe just kind of try to distract. I think he just set it there to distract, to basically allow his other tanks to survive, basically. Another expansion going down for Frozean, but I'm not sure how helpful that's going to be, because Flash is on the push now. He has a lot of Wraiths to protect, basically to go up and bolt the spot and to snipe tanks in a siege position, and a lot of siege tanks.